Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. That is Steven Treffler. We are the Sound. Thank you so much for joining us today, folks. An absolute miserable day here in South Central Pennsylvania. It was like driving through a monsoon on my way home from work today. Steve, I'd also like to say, I think my mom is trying to kill me. She was very adamant in me filling out my new life insurance stuff for my new job. And she was like, make sure you get that in today. Make sure you put me as the number one beneficiary. And I'm like, is something going on? I'm letting you folks know. If something happens to me in the next month or so, it was my mom. Just putting that out there. She's taking life insurance out on me.
Don't take the next plate of lasagna from Mama Cam.
Regardless of possible hitman situations, we got a great show for you today. We've got a little bit of everything, a little bit of football, a little bit of basketball, and a whole lot of sound. So, folks, without further ado, let's get right into it. Moving on to our first topic of the day, it is everyone's favorite segment, Soundbite. Brand new music. Not sure if we're going to keep it or not. Our old music got taken away, trying out something different, but in case you get what Soundbite is where Steve and I listen to a post-game interview, a podcast clip, whatever it may be. Someone says something that we want to take a listen to, we listen. And today, Bobby Marks, an ESPN insider, is saying that other NBA GMs are, there's no trade market for LeBron James, saying that they wouldn't make the deal and that no one should make the deal. So let's take a listen to Bobby Marks explaining that thought process.
He's making $53 million. He's in his last year of his contract. He's 40 years old. And I talked to numerous teams yesterday and asked that same question. Would you give up basically the farm? And basically you'd have to give up 4 or 5 players to go get LeBron James for 1 year. And the unanimous answer was no, they wouldn't. And here's a hypothetical. His former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are in this second apron and have spent a lot of money, they would basically have to trade about 6 players, Dan, just to go out and get him for 1 year. And as one team told me, that's not smart business.
So there you have it. That is Bobby Marks saying that no NBA team apparently wants LeBron James. Who would ever thought we'd be saying that? Steve, you know how I feel about LeBron, my favorite player and all that stuff. This is something that when we were playing the show, I said I can't wait to get on here and just eviscerate this absolute buffoonery. LeBron James, I don't know if people remember a season ago, like the 2025 NBA season, there were voters who decide who the best players are in the NBA. LeBron was in every measurable category one of those players. There were only 5 people that were above him in MVP voting. We are now back into everyone's favorite time of year. Criticize LeBron. Can't wait for his retirement. He is going to provide nothing. This is very much like what we had said last week with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That as soon as there's a misstep, or for LeBron, not even a misstep, something happens that there is an opportunity to poke at him, we immediately feel the need to do that, even if it makes absolutely no sense. Just a few months ago, when Jimmy Butler forced his way out of Miami, everybody, or no one, I should say, could understand why Miami wasn't doing it. Like, playoff Jimmy was still there. Look what he's done the last few seasons. He deserves it. Then LeBron does it, and we're like, what? LeBron? He's 40. Why would you ever want to give him more money? Jimmy Butler went to Golden State, and he immediately flopped on what we all thought he was going to be or why the Warriors were taking him. It was like, with Jimmy Butler there, Steph Curry's window was reopened back up, and they were going to do all these things, and he was the perfect complementary player, and nothing happened. So, Steve, I just don't get why everyone is just so quick to put LeBron down when he has given us he's shown us no reason to think or believe that or say those things.
No, you hit the nail on the head, dude. There are plenty of teams right now who are in a win-now position that have assets and picks that they can give up, that adding a LeBron James will be more than valuable for, even if it's just for that one season. If you add a LeBron James, not only are you essentially locking yourself in to the playoffs, but you are also adding the greatest postseason player of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these teams that are in win now positions are teams who just need something to get over the hump in the playoffs. LeBron is the guy that is shown he is okay with maybe not needing the ball all the time, but he's still going to command enough of an impact and enough of a presence to any team that brings him onto their roster. There is not a team LeBron doesn't fit into. He's not the scorer level, the malleable scorer, but the way LeBron thinks about the game and the way he looks at the game, saying that teams aren't interested in adding a guy who, when he comes to your roster, makes an immediate impact, that's blasphemy. That's silly. So no, I don't agree with this guy. If teams are truly thinking that way, we have a bigger issue in the NBA than just people not being interested in LeBron. How many major injuries has he ever had in his career? Has he ever had one? Are we worried that 41-year-old LeBron isn't going to be able to stay healthy? So what are we talking about?
Yeah, the only possible. I mean, his groin was an issue like what, a season and a half, 2 seasons ago, but that doesn't come up. It's almost like no one watched or paid attention. Like all they know is LeBron and 40, and
Wasn't
that was
he a
it.
second team All NBA?
Certainly was. Yeah,
Doesn't that mean essentially he was a top 10 player in the NBA?
he was 6th in MVP voting.
Don't the guys around him all make about $50 million a season, if not more?
Kinda. Yeah. I think it's. I just kind of sat here thinking, going through it in my head, and one of the best LeBron James arguments ever is in his prime, like in the Cleveland Miami era. You could have put him on literally any single team in the NBA, and you could have been like, maybe they got a shot. They got LeBron on there, or at least making it to the playoffs and making a playoff run. LeBron at 40, I still think if you put LeBron right now on the Portland Trailblazers, are they contenders? No. Do I think that they might make a run at the playoffs with LeBron on it? Maybe. Like, it's insane how we just compartmentalize these things about LeBron to fit our own narratives, but we just ignore the actual facts of what the situation is. Like I said, it seems like no one watched this season and saw what he just did and what just happened. Moving on to our second topic, sticking with the association, Damian Lillard. His future is in his hands. The Bucks waiving him and extending his money through the next 2 years. Can go anywhere he wants as a restricted free agent. And even though he won't be there for maybe most of or all the next season, a lot of possibilities for Damian Lillard and where he can go next. Steve, where do you think the best landing spot for Dame is?
Cam, I might be a little biased here, but Philly is, I think, the best landing spot for Dame, and here's why. We all know that Joel Embiid's biggest crutch is he disappears when the moment matters. We know that Dame time is a real thing. We know that Damian Lillard is one of the most clutch players of the last, decade and a half in the NBA modern era. I understand that we have Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey, but you can't tell me that Jared McCain wouldn't be a pretty overqualified sixth man coming off the bench for us, and having Dame Lillard start, mentor both of them, even if it's only for a couple seasons. Adding him would allow Embiid to take the weight off of his shoulders in that clutch moment when we know he turns into a Batman. When we know he turns into a Robin. But it also brings a leadership presence that Embiid and Paul George really don't have on the Sixers. They're not leaders. So, Cam, when I look at what Damian Lillard would bring to the Sixers, I think it's just perfect for his style when he shows up and what the Sixers really need, which is just culture, somebody with a presence.
Yeah. My only concern with Dame is that Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Damian Lillard, and Joel Embiid are only the most effective with the ball in their hands. Like, one of those guys has to take a back seat of some kind. My answer is a little bit not different, but I think it's the Orlando Magic. Their veteran presence right now is Jonathan Isaac. Like, they don't have anyone who is a true like veteran presence, and I think right now their starting point guard is Jalen Suggs, who got hurt at this past season, and like kind of like McCain. It's not like it'd be the worst thing to have him coming off the bench, and Orlando right now is in that space that kind of OKC was in 2 years ago. Like, next team up, they're coming, they're pretty good, they might make a run. Like right now, we are hearing a lot of, after the Desmond Bane move, Orlando's going to make a run. They have really good odds to win the East. They might go deep. Imagine if they bring in a Damian Lillard, who right now, like I said, their best player is still going to be Paolo. Their number 2 would be Desmond Bane, because Dame coming off of an Achilles injury, what's he going to look like? I don't know. It's also not like Orlando is in immediate need of Damian Lillard. Even when Paolo and Franz Wagner were getting hurt last season, they were still finding ways to stay afloat and keep them moving, so they can go without Dame until they truly need him. Dame, I think, would also have a chance to give Orlando an identity. Because right now, I think we only look at Orlando as the team that Paolo Banchero plays for. Like, I don't really know what else to say about them. I don't know what else they're about. Maybe, like, I don't want to say toughness. I don't know. But I think with Dame there, that then changes to, it's Dame and the kids. Or it's like, this is now, Dame is, like I just said, trying to help them get on the right path. This is a really good team. Dame is clearly the veteran presence. Like, how it's sort of like KD in Houston, where he is now the older guy missing piece that could put them over the edge. And especially now in the weaker East with Jason Tatum gone, Tyrese Halliburton, now, like I said, they'll be back later. But what will they look like, or what will the East look like when they're back and with Dame there? How will the landscape change, and how will everyone get together? So, Steve, I just think right now in Orlando, it could be the perfect opportunity for Dame to not like reinvent himself, but like I said, he can give Orlando an identity that I don't think they have right now.
That's a great point. I didn't think about Orlando. I like that fit. The other thing I thought about is some of these teams who might have a salary cap issue. Damian Lillard's going to be getting $23 million a year for the next 5 years from the Bucks.
Yeah.
It's not like you really got to spend a lot of money on him to get him.
Yeah.
You give him a $20-30 million a year contract, understanding what the Bucks are still giving him, and he's still making $40 or $50 million a season.
This is kind of random. I don't think it's out of the question that Dame submits and goes back to Portland, because he didn't really want to leave to begin with. He left for the noise of, hey, Dame, you got to win a championship. You're too good. Like, what are you doing? You got if he just says, look, this is a tough injury. I'm 36 years old, something like that. Back 9 of my career, not much juice left. Like, I just want to go home somewhere where I'm loved. It's familiar. Like, it's not like they wouldn't immediately embrace him to be, who he was before. I don't know. Might be still in the cards for him.
We'll see.
Moving on to our third and final topic, it is everyone's favorite ranking system, today's top 5. In case you forget what today's top 5 is where Steve and I rank different teams, players, moments, whatever it be. 1 through 5, we put them in the correct sports context that they need to be in. And today, we are doing our top 5 NFL teams that we are most excited to watch for this upcoming season. We put a lot of thought into it. We got a good list for you. So without further ado, let's take a look at today's top 5. All right, here we have a look at today's top 5, starting at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5. Oh, I didn't change the fucking title. God. All right, here we have a look at today's top 5, starting at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5, the Washington Commanders. Kind of a weird team to throw out there, especially when I am an NFC East guy with the Eagles, but Jaden Daniels come into his sophomore slump. Is he going to beat it? Is he going to underperform? I don't know. We'll see. Deebo Samuel showing up there at Washington. How is that going to affect the team? And I think Jaden Daniels just has a lot of hype going into the season right now. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do and if they're going to maintain the pace that they did last year going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I think adding Deebo Samuel is going to be really scary for that offense. Speaking of scary, they already have Scary Terry there.
Right.
And Jaden Daniels is, I don't believe he's going to have a sophomore slump this season. I know that's a real thing, but I think that he is the real deal. I have to say I was very wrong about him. I said he wasn't going to be good coming out of college, and I've been pleasantly surprised.
Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. Again, kind of another random one, but this is like a brand new team for Minnesota. JJ McCarthy now being a starter quarterback after losing Sam Darnold. How is that going to affect their offense? Kevin O'Connell just won Coach of the Year, which I was not expecting. I mean, I think it was deserving probably, but how is he going to continue now with that and with adjusting to JJ McCarthy? And the Vikings had a year where I think, regardless of how successful, they ended up as the 3 or 4 seed in the NFC. But I still think no one really believed in them going into the playoffs that they were going to make any noise or make a deep run. Is that going to change now with JJ McCarthy? Is it going to be more the same for Minnesota? Vikings at number 4.
I'm excited to watch the Vikings because of Kevin O'Connell, but also Brian Flores, what he's done with that defense. I mean, they were one of the better defenses in football during the regular season this year. So I'm excited to watch them on the other side of the ball. I am not a big J.J. McCarthy guy. I am not a Michigan guy, so I've always hated J.J. McCarthy. But I'm excited to watch them because it is a new team, and it finally gives Justin Jefferson some solidarity at quarterback from what they believe. So
you think your Michigan I don't want to say hate. You think you got a little bias going on?
Yeah, probably. 100%.
Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I actually wanted this team lower, but Steve, during our pre-show meeting, convinced me to move them up to 3. Or, yeah, I guess convinced me. So, Philadelphia, are they going to go back for a 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years? Is Saquon Barkley going to have yet another 2,000-yard season? Is Jalen Hurts going to have another subpar or mediocre regular season, or can he continue rolling from the Super Bowl? Nick Sirianni getting his big extension. Is that going to work out or prove worth it, or will it be more the same for his antics? Not a Sirianni guy. But Philly is rolling right now through the NFC. They are the clear powerhouse in that conference. We got them at number 3.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to watch them do the tush push against every team that voted to ban it. I'm excited to watch Saquon Barkley. I'm excited to watch the Birds because, yes, they are my second favorite team, but I truly believe that they are building somewhat of a dynasty here. They've re-signed all of their talent. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith both re-signed. Saquon coming off a career year. And I'm on record telling you that I think he's going to have another 2,000-yard season, and I think he's going to break the rushing record this season. So I am very excited to see that.
I would also like to say, even though we haven't shown one or two yet, I think Saquon Barkley is the most exciting player
100%.
on this list that we have. So, like I said, Eagles are number 3. Number 2, the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati last season, clearly not what we are used to or we're expecting from them. I am ready for a Joe Burrow comeback season. Nobody expected them to keep both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they did. The only downside to Cincinnati this past season was their defense, clearly where their biggest weak spots were. So I think not only are people getting ready to see the awesome Cincinnati offense, but also curious to see if the defense is going to make a recovery and can, change the outcome of last season for them this year. So Cincinnati at number 2.
They addressed what I think is one of their biggest needs on defense. We know that Trey Hendrickson has been having a contract issue there in Cincinnati, so their defense is kind of on the edge of potentially even getting worse than it was last season. But they went out and got Shamar Stewart, the defensive end from Texas A&M with the 17th overall pick in this draft. One of the guys who I am super high on coming out of college. He's a freak athlete. Think of Javon Curse, dude. Like, this guy is literally going to be a game changer on defense. He's going to give offensive line coaches nightmares before games. So Bengals at 2 is a great pick. Joe Burrow, he had, 5,000? Did he hit 5,000 yards last season?
I don't. Maybe. I don't think so, but he might have. Yeah.
Close. Jamar Chase at 1,700 receiving yards. They got T. Higgins to re-sign. Bengals at 2.
And moving on to number 1 in today's top 5. Please don't yell at us. The Las Vegas Raiders. Now, look, Steve, I would like to make a proclamation. And you tell me if I'm going too far or if we don't want this. But do you remember how the Lions were the Sounds team before? Like, we put our flag in them in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to brand the Raiders as the Sounds team this coming year? We're not saying they're going to make the Super Bowl. We're not saying they're going to be a world ender or like a tough playoff matchup. But are they going to be like we've said in segments past, the best Raiders team that we've seen in 2 decades? Is this the best situation that they have been in forever? Best quarterback, best offense, a good coach. Like, things seem to be falling into place in Vegas, and there is no better time than the present to make their mark. Las Vegas at number 1.
You stole my thunder, dang it. I am going to take it a step further and give you the proclamation that I said that I was going to give, and I wasn't going to tell you. The Raiders are making the playoffs this year, dude.
Oh!
You heard it now. You heard it now. I truly believe in Geno Smith. I have not respected Geno Smith enough. I have not given him his flowers. Pete Carroll found something in Geno Smith, and he brought the best out of Geno Smith. I have no doubt that relationship can continue. I am super high on Ashton Genty. You know that I am. Brock Bowers is already one of my favorite players in the NFL. Max Crosby just re-signed. He just got his big contract in the offseason. Everything is coming together at the right time for the Raiders to finally break out of this miserable Vince Young, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew resume that they've built over the last 2 decades.
It's just so unfortunate of the division they're in.
They're going to be a wild card, and I get that.
Yeah.
But they're going. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you they're going. I think the Raiders will have a better record than my Dolphins. I truly believe that. Think about it. Our quarterback is a sneeze away from getting hurt every season. Geno adds stability. They have a veteran presence head coach. The Raiders could definitely win over 8 games and sneak into a last spot in the wild card. They could win 9 or 10 games. I truly believe that.
For those of you that were at the start of the show, at the very, very beginning, I think my mom is trying to kill me. She was very adamant in me filling out my new life insurance stuff for my new job. And she was like, make sure you get that in today. Make sure you put me as the number 1 beneficiary. And I'm like, is something going on? Mom, if there is any reason not to kill me now, it is because we put the Raiders as the Sounds team. You can't now. I fixed it. No life insurance today. So go back through today's top 5, starting at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5, the Washington Commanders. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, the Cincinnati Bengals. And number 1, the Las Vegas Raiders. Today's top 5. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. We hope you enjoyed watching and or listening to today's show. Make sure you are liking, commenting, subscribing, and rating our channel. Also, make sure you are following our Instagram page at the Sound_YT for more information there. Folks, we hope you have a great rest of your day or night. And listen, always remember, if you are ever in need of intelligent and cogent sports analysis, Sound, we will always have you covered. Thank you so much for joining us today, folks. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. Stay cool, stay safe, take care. We'll see you next time.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.